Welcome to Elevate Your Game Business and Mindset Talks. I'm Chris Van Dijk, your host, and today we have a very special guest with us, Jack, the Cronulla Cowboy, Brubaker. Hi, Jack.
Hey Chris, what a great venue here, and looking forward to today's chat.
Yeah, welcome, mate. Look, Jack has had an extensive boxing career, a professional boxer. You've been very successful with that, Jack. You're now a really, really successful entrepreneur, and you have a company called Fresh Filters. Jack?
Yeah, that's correct. Exactly. Not only the drinking water, but every tap in the house. So you're bathing, you're showering. It's beneficial for everyone with their skin, their hair, and obviously, beneficial for the inside of your body with the drinking, filtering out all that harsh chemicals and stuff like that.
So amazing, Jack. Look, do you want to tell us a turning point in your boxing career that helped you stay motivated in the tough times?
I feel like I was a professional fighter for pretty much over 11, 12 years, and I went pro real early, and yeah, it's a tough gig being a professional fighter. You got to make a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of lunches and dinners you have to miss out on with making weight and the training. So it is a pretty lonely sport, but you just got to keep ticking over and pushing through. And there was times where I had pretty substantial breaks away from the sport, but only to come back and feel like you need to keep busy and keep moving.
So you'll find that you've had a lot of mindset training, obviously, in the boxing career, mental toughness, and there was a lot of things there that, essentially you had to build strength from.
Oh, hugely. Again, mental toughness inside the boxing ring, I feel like it goes hand in hand, and there's been plenty of times in the fights, sometimes the fight's the easy part. It's a training. It's getting to the fight that's the tough part, especially as I got a bit older and a bit later on in my career. Like the last couple fights, like the hardest part was getting to the ring. The ring was just the fun and easy part.
Yeah. So question I got is, what motivated you to start Fresh Filters?
So before I gave up full-time work and started my boxing journey as a professional, maybe I still worked pretty much full-time as a plumber. And again, I was doing my license. I was getting up at 5 o'clock and running track, going to work 8 hours, either digging holes and digging trenches for laying pipes, and then going to the gym after work. And then also when I'd done my plumbing license, I'd be going to the night TAFE 2 times a week. So I was just so busy and so flat chat, and again, I had no free time for anything, but I still had time to train twice a day. As I got a bit well on, and I was lucky enough to get a few sponsors like yourself, CVD, I was able to give up full-time work in probably about my 8th professional fight, and really give it a red hot crack. It was before I fought on the Denny Green undercard. I fought this Chinese youth world champion, Xing Zhang. I have a bit of problem pronouncing his name, but it was a turning point in my career. I knocked him out in the 4th round, and that just sort of catapulted me to just pretty much treat it like a full-time gig, and it was pretty special.
So did you already have a plan while you were still boxing to start Fresh Filters? What were your thoughts? Because I remember speaking to you back then.
Yeah.
And you were talking about you had an idea and you wanted to start your own company because you wanted to transition.
That was sort of pretty much again, that story is about my 7th, 8th fight. I had 27 professional fights. There was a long gap between that and getting to where I am now. Pretty much the last couple of years, I knew my boxing was coming to an end. I definitely felt like I lost the love and passion for the fighting, and it was sort of showing in a few of my fights. Again, it's one of those sports that you need to be 100% committed, because, again, you find out real quick when you're in the ring that if you're 99% in there and your opponent's 100%, that 1% is huge. And, I could definitely feel like the look in some of my opponent's eyes. It reminded me of a younger self. So, like I said, the last couple of years, I sort of started thinking about what I could do for life after boxing. And I was working with my parents for a bit when I closed my gym. It was sort of, my parents have a successful earth moving business, and I was in trucks and excavators, and again, we we're digging up old water pipes, and I was seeing inside these water pipes firsthand that were pretty much in use only, a day or two ago, and just it was horrible to look at. And I mean,
Dirty pipes.
dirty pipes, rust, grit, like black grit that would stick to your hands for days. So that's sort of what's going in our drinking water, pumping to our houses. And being a new father, also, again, given my son not only as a professional athlete, but as a new father, I was concerned about what I was putting in my son's body.
So basically, you're doing plumbing, you're working in earthworks, you're still doing your boxing career, and you're like you're starting now to think about what's after boxing, what's the life after boxing.
Yeah, big time, big time. Like these last couple of years, even my last 4 fights since I came back when I fought Troy and then had that big fight with Nikita, I was pretty much working full time as a plumber on the tools back with the boys I went to TAFE and done my license with. So I had probably 7 years out of the industry. So I needed a couple of years back to sort of remember what I've forgotten and get that hand-on experience again.
So that wouldn't have been easy, would it? You're working a full-time job plumbing. Well, I'd have to say it'd be a pretty strenuous job, right? On the tools, plumbing.
Oh,
And you're you're training for boxing.
yeah, massively. So I think especially the last couple fights, like it just really I was getting pulled in every direction. Again, I was back running the track at 5 o'clock, and especially in winter too. Like you run around that track at 5 in the morning in winter, you really question what you're doing and if you have it in you to get these to make it to fight night. And it was extremely tough. And being a new father, again, I'd go to work after that, and then I know I need to go to the gym because I got this fight coming up. But also I hadn't seen my son, for 8-9 hours, and I know if I go to the gym and I come home, it's nearly his bedtime. So I'd only have a short amount of time before he's in bed. So it's really pushing you. And then sometimes if you go, I'll go home before the gym. Once you go home, you don't want to leave and you don't want to go back to the gym. So it was always it was a pretty tough time the last couple fights to make it to fight night, especially because I feel like I already told myself that these would be the last 2 fights I had. Pretty much I just kept, and I fought really well, and I'm super proud of myself, but I sort of deep down I knew that this fights would only help me to promote my business and life after boxing to keep my name relevant.
Yeah, and you would have built up some type of mental toughness. I mean, not seeing your son, I've got kids myself, so I understand what that's like. But really, you're doing it for your son. Is that sort of the mentality that you gave yourself to keep going? Like,
oh, massively. Again, like I said, you work, so you run track at 5 in the morning in the freezing cold or rain. You've gone to work for 8-9 hours, either digging trenches for laying pipes or cutting concrete walls to lay pipe work in the chasers. Then you got to sort of you got sparring this afternoon, and you get to the gym for sparring. And I remember being there myself as a younger person, sparring the Kurt Barham and those more seasoned professionals, and even my coaches of late, Ryan Waters. Again, I remember just being so pumped up because I had something to prove for these older, more seasoned pros. And for me, I'd rock up to the gym and I'd be like, okay, well, who am I sparring? And I'd sort of already be a bit flat from work and a bit lethargic. And I remember looking over seeing these young, hungry boys in their early 20s and 5 professional fights in, pumped up. They have a light sweat on like they're coming out for a world title fight. And like for them, it's like they're sparring Jack Brubaker.
yeah.
And for me, especially later on, it's just like, man, I'm sparring this dude. And yeah, it's just that hunger that you lose.
But you're there because you got to provide for your family, right?
Oh, massively. Again, if like Australian boxing, I was lucky in my career to have great sponsors and people looking after me. And but still, like, there's not huge money in Australian boxing, especially if you don't have the sponsors backing you. So again, I was working pretty much full time, providing for my family. I also, again, along with my partner, and I've got a stepson also, Aiden, and again, so I got Aiden and my 2 sons, Aiden and Bear. So like I got 3 people in the house that are sort of counting on me. and my little cavoodle Ari. So again, it's
He's cute.
can't leave him out. Dog dad.
So you're obviously passionate about your product and your service, Fresh Filters. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that? Like I understand from what you've just said before, going to work every day, seeing the pipes that are only being used only recently, filthy water. Now you've got you've got two sons to look after. You've got a family, so you can resonate that it's important to have clean water to the home. Is that what spawned you to start Fresh Filters?
Yeah, definitely. Again, being a new father, and especially again, I remember we had the bottle maker at home, little Tommy Tibby, and we were putting the boiled water from the kettle through there, and then this little Tommy bottle maker had its own little special filter in there, but it was tiny. And I remember after using it for a few weeks, I was thinking, man, how good's this filter? Again, this is a precious newborn baby. Again, what you put in their body is very essential for their growth and well-being. So not only being a professional athlete and always being pretty self-conscious about what I put into my body, again, this sort of got me thinking. And I've seen, I've done a bit of research and I've seen a few similar products around, but there was nothing around Cronulla where we live or further down the south coast. And so being a pretty well-known athlete in Cronulla especially, I sort of got me thinking. So exactly during that last fight especially, that's just the process I used to launch my business and use that platform that I had.
Yeah, amazing. And so if somebody wants to get in contact with Fresh Filters, where do they go?
So through my Instagram, Jack Brubaker, again, I have a link up the top through Fresh Filters. Instagram is sort of the main platform we use for promoting our work and jobs that we've done. Also, we have the website freshfilters.com.au, or just reach out for us and I can steer you in the right direction.
Amazing. So look, we know that you trained with Jeff Fenech. And I just wanted to ask to you, how did that change your approach to training and the competition? And what's the key lessons you learnt there?
Fenech, he's still a warhorse in the gym. Again, even after coming back, when I fought Tim Tszyu, we went to Thailand, and that training camp we had over there, I feel like it was just cursed from day one. I had 2 weeks with Fenech, and they were just so intense, and he was so enthusiastic, and he was just good energy, good morale in the gym, and had a few fighters in there, Huss Hamden and Brock Jarvis in the gym also. So that was something I lacked for a long time. I was training out of my own gym. I brought in Graham Shaw, which was a great trainer, but it was just me and him for years, and it got real static, and I was starting to really not enjoy my training. So that's when we made the decision that, I met Fenech and got on really well with him, and those first 2 weeks were just unbelievable. Like, he was just such a high, enthusiastic, loving, caring man and really cared about his fighters. So unfortunately, we went to Thailand for my pretty much week 3 of my training camp against Tim Tszyu. And unfortunately, he got crook over there and ended up having open heart surgery to replace his heart valve in the Thailand hospital. And I remember being in the hospital with him, and just so happened, like, his phone rang and I picked up the phone and I'm like, Jeff, Mike Tyson's giving you a call. So he hands Mike Tyson the phone and he's like, oh man, I'm not doing well. He could barely speak, had all these tubes everywhere. And so on the phone to Mike Tyson, he's gone, man, I just feel bad for Jack. I can't train him right now. And I was thinking, shit, like, that's the type.
He's still caring while he's laying in the bed, right?
Yeah, that's the type of person he is. He's like literally on death's doorstep, and all he's worried about is my training for the Tim fight.
Yeah. So we know you've had some tough challenges in your boxing career. What type of challenges have you had launching Fresh Filters, and how have you overcome them, Jack?
Man, it's a fairly new business. Again, I've sort of launched it maybe 3 months ago, and it's doing well because I feel it was great timing. A lot of reports on the news about the chemicals and harsh how the Sydney water is really harsh, and the PFAS chemicals. So it was great timing to launch the business. But again, you only get out what you put back. So I put a lot of work in that start, and I got a lot of inquiries and a lot of jobs, but I sort of put my foot off the gas and thought, okay, well, that's done. That side of that is done. Now I'll just keep rolling and the jobs will keep coming in. So especially the last couple of weeks, because I've sort of been pretty busy putting them in, I've laid off the marketing and pushing the promotion side of it and trying to get new inquiries. So it definitely slowed down a bit, but it's just another lesson to make, and you just got to keep that foot on the gas. And regardless if you're putting them in and how busy you are, you have to keep chasing that future work.
Yeah. And I want to go back for a minute. So when you come up with the idea of fresh filters, did you, just talking for, potential young entrepreneurs or, people that are thinking about starting a business, did you write down some ideas? Did you brainstorm? What were your steps that you sort of took before you went, yep, that's the product or that's the service that I want to undertake, and that's what I'm going to go and focus my time into?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of different ideas and different thoughts. When I closed my gym 4 years ago, it was pretty much the peak COVID time. I wasn't enjoying my gym regardless. Again, I feel like if I kept the gym, I would never afford again. Since closing my gym, I had 4 more fights, and those 4 fights have probably been some of my funnest, most enjoyable fights, because I wasn't getting burnt out always being in the gym. But like I said, I went through a few different stages. I went and worked with my parents in the earth moving business and different sides of that, and then I done the back plumbing with the boys, and I was just sort of spitballing ideas. And part of me was thinking about maybe doing a bit of commentary for Foxtel and the boxing, because I am got a bit of a personality in the sport, and that's sort of what propelled me to, even though I wasn't maybe the greatest fighter, I was tough and I was always in the best fights, but I always had that personality. I sort of morphed into different what I needed to be. Like when I fought Tim, I was a bad guy. Later on, once I became the Cronulla Cowboy, I became a bit more likable and a bit more family orientated. I feel like I lost that, not lost, but I grew out of that cocky, sort of arrogant attitude. But I feel like that needed to serve that purpose at that point in my career. But there was a few different, to answer your question, there was a lot of different brainstorming different ideas. But once I came across the filtration and started seeing these pipes, I went all in.
Would you say that it's something that you're passionate about because it does come close to your heart? I mean, you've got a young family, so the drinking water is extremely important for you. Do you think that it's important for young entrepreneurs as well to find something that they're passionate about and go all in on it?
Yeah, definitely. I agree, and it's such a good job also, because I get instant gratification from the customers. Like they can tell instantly their water tastes better, and over the months they can see their skin's better, their hair's better. So I'm getting that sort of almost,
makes you feel good.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. It's almost like that dopamine hit that boxing gave me from the recognition of people saying, "How man, how good was that fight? You're the toughest guy. You got the hardest chin." Sort of that's what addicted me to the boxing. I love that recognition of people being thankful for myself, but I'm getting that in a different aspect now from clients that I've done jobs for.
So you also know that deep down that your product's actually working. It's not a gimmick. It's actually a good product, and you're providing a good service, which is obviously then contributing to the overall health of somebody's family at home, correct?
Yeah, hitting the nail on the head. Boom.
Yeah. So going back to brainstorming ideas, how did that look like for you? I mean, we know that you're a tough fighter. You've obviously brought that mentality now into business, right? So on your day-to-day running of the company, are you constantly thinking of ideas to promote the business? Are you looking at ideas to what runs in Jack's head during the day now that you would take that mindset from boxing is now focused back into you as an entrepreneur running Fresh Filters?
Yeah, big time. I feel like even yesterday I got my partner Elise. She's been amazing in helping me set up the business and pretty much done all the marketing and set up my website and pamphlets and flyers. So I'm extremely lucky to have her on my team doing that because, again, at the end of the day, I am just sort of a bit of a dopey boxer, but I'm a good.
But there's a lot involved,
Oh,
right?
there
in
is.
running a
Yeah,
business.
there is a lot involved, and I learned lot of lessons from running my gym. I feel like I didn't run that properly from the start because because I wasn't hugely passionate about opening the gym. I thought I was hugely passionate about running my own boxing career, but I thought having the gym would benefit my career. In hindsight, it sort of had the opposite effect. It was sort of too much boxing, and when I was at the peak of my career, sort of top 15 in the world with the WBC, it's because I loved it. I watched fights all the time. I studied fighters I loved, and I was just obsessed with it. And then when I felt like I opened up the gym, I thought, oh well, that will just help me be in the gym more. And like I was in the gym more, but it just took a lot of the passion away from it for me and the hunger. So I learnt a lot of lessons from having my gym. Again, wouldn't say it was a failed business, but in hindsight, like it probably was because I wasn't putting that time and energy like I'm putting into the fresh filters business now.
So, I mean, you're going to have to make mistakes along the way, right? So, in business, as an entrepreneur, we're going to fail, yeah?
Yeah, huge. Big time.
And it's important what you do after the failure, yeah? Or something fails, you need to take important notes from that and learn and move forward and progress, right?
Yeah, as I said before, like again, I put a lot of work into it, got promotion, made a few really cool videos and chased up all the inquiries. And again, I had 8-9 jobs within that first sort of couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, how easy is this? So I took the foot off the gas, and now that because I wasn't chasing the work or being proactive with the future jobs coming up, that slowed down a bit. So again, like that's just another lesson that you just go, well, yeah, regardless of how busy you are, you just need to keep that foot on the gas.
What advice would you give to yourself, a young 20-year-old Jack Brubaker, now knowing the things that you've learned in boxing and also starting as an entrepreneur in fresh filters? What would you be saying to your younger self?
Maybe everything in balance. I feel like I made a lot of mistakes. Again, when I was training, I was 100% committed to training, and again, it was like my obsession. But then once that finished, because I had got quite an addictive personality, I'd replace the gym and training with other things in my life, whether it be going to the pub and partying, and like a sort of that became my new obsession. So I feel just being more aware of everything in moderation. Like everyone's entitled to have a good time, but you need to set boundaries for yourself and set plans, because if you don't have like a schedule or routine, I need a routine in my life, because every time I haven't had routine or structure, I feel like I get distracted easily and get up to sort of no good and find myself doing things that hinder my career and business rather than be proactive for it.
Yeah, because I know too, as an entrepreneur myself, that it's you need to have a little bit of structure, right? Like I get up at 2:30 myself and go to work, but then I have my partner, like my wife Jess. She's always saying, "Hey, we need to go and do something." So you've got to have that family life balance as well.
Yeah, otherwise you burn out. And as I felt the last training camp, especially, it was my last fight. I knew it deep down, but again, I was just training, working, just pulling myself in every different direction, and I was lucky to get to fight night. I feel like my body almost gave way, and I felt like I was crook for 5-6 months of that early on in the year, just getting through to fight night.
So the episode before this, I had my father in, and he spoke about, obviously my parents left Holland and they moved to Australia. And I asked him a question. I said to him, he made that move. He just did it. And I said, did you have a fallback? Did you have a backup plan? What was your mindset with that? Jack, starting fresh filters, right? It's a risk, yeah? You got to take a risk, yeah? It would have been the same as when you took on those big name fighters, fought for championship belts, all those type of things. They're a risk. What would you say to a young person that wants to start a business about taking a risk?
Yeah, everything in life is a risk, but you got to manage the risk as best as you can. And You need to be prepared. If you're not prepared and you're just taking a unnecessary risk and you don't really know what's going to happen, I feel like the risk is could be a lot more harmful. Nothing's easy in life. Again, like if you want easy route, you can do that. You can work at McDonald's forever and go get your paycheck and come home and still be happy. But again, if you want more, you're gonna have to sort of take a few risks and have a bit of a crack.
Yeah. So do you agree that we should be encouraging people to chase their dreams, especially if you're a young person and you want to start a business? Brainstorm your ideas. Ensure that you start to work on your mental toughness, right? Like all the things that you've challenged and that you faced challenges in your life. Even starting Fresh Filters, that wasn't easy, was it?
No, it wasn't easy. Again, it was scary. And again, looking back now, the only advice I can give, especially when I had my Brubaker boxing gym and I had my sponsors, I wish during school, rather than learning about sort of ancient Egypt or some of these things, that they were a bit more business orientated. Again, I left school in year 10 and started my plumbing apprenticeship. So maybe if they'd done business in year 11 or 12, I might have been a bit more prepared. But all of a sudden, I was getting pretty decent money from my fights, and I had no idea about BAS or tax or putting the money aside. And I'm still learning about it now. Again, as a new business, like to keep on top of everything because it can get away from you real quick.
Yeah. And obviously in business, it's also important to have the right people around you as well. It would have been the same in your boxing career, right? So we want to make sure that we have the right people. I mean, you need insurance, you need accountants, you need all those things, right? So how important is having a good network?
Oh, hugely. And that's a big benefit from, again, my boxing career. Over the years, I've met a lot of successful people in a lot of different injuries. Again, like I've even in the past month before this, I've reached out to you. I've come to your office, so we've had a meeting. You've given up your time to run me through how you make your business sort of run day to day and what's successful for yourself. And I'm just hugely grateful for people like yourself in my life. And you got to lean on what you have and the benefits and the people that what boxing has given me is access to a lot of successful people. So I've been leaning on their advice and people who are a lot smarter than me in business and try to take what I can.
So building a network of friends and obviously adding value to those friends, because like yourself, Jack, you add a lot of value to myself as well. You give me your advice. And that's extremely important moving forward in business. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, Jack?
Where do I see myself? Again, I feel like it's such a good business model, what I have right now. Again, Fresh Filters, everyone's so more conscious about their health and well-being in this day and age than they ever have been. So if everyone in the whole of Australia, again, can have a fresh filter in their house or something similar, it could be like a hot water heater. So how many houses are there in Australia? It's such a, the business has so much room to grow and expand. So I'm just looking forward to, riding that journey and keeping my foot on the gas and, just growing and learning as much as I can as I go.
So for people that don't know what Fresh Filters are, can you walk us through a bit of the steps on what you do and what your product is? So we know it's called Fresh Filters, but give us a bit of
basically
information about it.
It's a 3-stage filtration system. I put as close to the water meter as I can, just so it doesn't miss any lines. It goes to other lines in the house and other taps so I don't get missed. It goes through the first stage. It gets rid of all the harsh sort of rust and sediment, the real big stuff, and then as it goes through into the next filter, it starts getting that more precise of cutting down the chlorine and the pesticides and the stuff they add.
Are there pesticides in the water?
Well, you think about like all the farmlands and the what they're spraying on their crops, and they put like the water mains. They put these chemicals in the water pipes to kill the bacteria before it gets to your house. because
They put chemicals in there.
once you see what's inside the pipe, again, it's to keep it sort of clean enough and healthy enough for people to drink. It has to have some type of like reaction before it gets to your house. So so that they are drinkable water. It just refines that system pretty much. And then the third one, it just improves the taste quality. So you're drinking that bottled water feeling pretty much.
How long does it take? If I ring you up today and said, hey, Jack, I want to get fresh filters installed for my house, run us through the process involved with, step by step from word go. Contact you, I'll give you a call.
Yeah, you give me a call. So pretty much we just have a quick chat on the phone. I can either come and have a quick surveillance of your house and have a look at the meter firsthand. But again, a few of my clients in the past, I just say, give me a FaceTime. I'll run you through, show me where your water meter is. Here's a few options. We can put it here. We can put it here. If you don't like it there, we can potentially trace the line a bit closer to your house, and we can put it on your house. Or maybe, again, when I done Gallen's one, we traced the water pipe to in his sort of rumpus basement, and so it wasn't out close to the water meter. We had it in his rumpus room underneath the house, and that suited him. It was neat and tidy under there for him. That's the first step. Again, if you're happy with that, I'll give you a quote on the phone. We go ahead. I rock up. We go through the stage. I do as much prep work as I can to minimize the water off to your house. Once it's all the prep work's done, boom, do the diversion, the filter's in place, and it's pretty much within 4 or 5 hours, you're good to go. It's drinkable straight away. It's got no running cost. It doesn't lose any water pressure to your house. You can sort of taste the quality difference straight away.
So it seems like a pretty easy, system. I'll ring you up. We can FaceTime you, send you a photo, talk about where we want to put the system, get a quote from you, place an order, and what's the lead time for these systems?
Yeah, well, right now within a week's notice, I can come out and throw it in for you, and you're good to go. So
for 7 days from the time I call you, you'll be out, and you said it's about 4 hours on site. Is that right?
Yeah, 4 to 5 hours on site. They do vary on a few different aspects, but it's pretty much 4 to 5 hours. You're good to go. And again, like, you don't need electricity. You don't need. There's no other maintenance costs throughout the year. We come out once a year. We give you a service reminder on the 11 months that your filters are due to be changed. We come out and we do that replacement. And there's no other costs throughout the year.
Yeah, so it sounds like a pretty easy process, right? So it's not really that hard, but the benefits of going through something like that is enormous, right? You were speaking before about skin. People's skin. So tell us about that.
So again, a few of my clients, their kids have had eczema, and it's been a couple of months since I put them in, and they've been praising results with their kids' skin. And another client, she has long blonde hair like Elise, and again her hair was going that tingy green because of the chlorine levels in the water was just so extremely high where she was living, and her hair feels better, her skin feels better. It's just got so many benefits outside the body, let alone inside the body.
So, couple of questions, right? So I'm a young entrepreneur coming up with an idea. I've written these on a board. What's the next steps you take?
Reach out to people who have businesses. Again, I've got a big network of people who have got successful businesses in life, and I'm lucky enough my parents have quite a successful earth moving business, SJ Reed, and I lent on my parents a lot as well for how to start or how to run the business. Again, I took a lot of their advice, and I didn't take a lot of their advice also. But again, you just ask as many people, and don't be afraid to look stupid or feel stupid. Again, I'm not a super smart business savvy person, so I just had to ask as many people as I could and get as much advice to learn how to run it the best I can.
Amazing. Have you got any tips on tips and tricks on advertising for your business, on networking? What are some of the things that you do, Jack, that we could pass on to the listeners?
Again, just lean on social media is such a beneficial tool that we have in our hands this day. And I've tried a few different things. Again, we've done the letterbox pamphlet drops. We've done marketing through Instagram. I feel like the letterbox drops sort of had zero return on them. Whether or not, like, I'm guilty myself. If someone, you get through the letterbox, you pull out skip bill. Like, you just skip past all the pamphlets of people trying to promote their business. You're always a bit naive, thinking, oh, well, mine's more, mine's more important. Mine's going to stand out
because it's yours.
Yeah, mine has my face on it, so people recognize my face. But in reality, the pamphlet drop really didn't do nothing. So the Instagram marketing and reaching out for people, like, again, I had Gallon do a marketing for us. We put one in at Gallon's house, and he done a great video for us. I've heard his wife is like, loved the product, loved the taste of the water, and he's getting mad results. And Gallon made a video for us, and like that one video got us sort of 6-7 clients, and it was like, Gallon's such a front figure in Cronulla, especially, and that's where I want most of my work. So you just got to lean on people that you know, collaborate, 100%, collaborate. And again, I'm reaching out to more people now, and so hopefully they come back to us and they're on board. But you just got to keep your foot on the gas and keep promoting. And again, you might have a bad week, but it's like boxing. You might have a bad round. You just got to shake yourself off and dust yourself off and get your mouth back in and keep going. And
just really don't give yourself a fallback.
No.
Because have you got a fallback on fresh filters if, like, this doesn't work for you? What's your fallback?
Oh, man, I've been trying to convince Elise for OnlyFans, but she's not on board. But
for you?
Yeah, for me.
I'll go on it with you, mate. I'll wear a mankini with you. Don't worry.
Everyone has a fetish. So, that was my fallback. But again, being a father, I think that's sort of gone off the radar now. But you just got to
keep going.
Again, there's no surrender, no retreat. There's sort of this or nothing. Yeah, well, Georgie Kambosis, I got that from him. So he's got that big tattoo on his back, and I think the Greek mythology.
Mythology.
Yeah. So that's it, man. You just got to roll with the punches and not take anything personally. Again, there was a few people over the course where you go to their house, and like this lady, I went in and had like a 45-minute chat with her and her husband. I felt like I couldn't get away. All I wanted to do was, like, it was late in the day, or it was like I wanted to get home to see Bear before he went to sleep. And I had this long conversation with this lady and husband, and I reached out a couple of days later and sent her a photo of a few different products that she could use, and like just aired me. And I was like, oh, that's strange. And then I'll give it a week. I don't want to harass her, and follow up again, and just nothing. I was like, at least just give me a courtesy of saying that you're not interested. And thanks, but we're gonna just wait a bit. And that, again, some people just have
it's business, right?
Yeah,
so
business.
You can't take it personally.
Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh man, that lady, she didn't reply.
But it hurts because we got feelings, right?
Yeah, it does, man. Like it's just you think, oh man, should I go?
Have I done something wrong?
Yeah.
But of course, because you're passionate about what you do, right? So,
I know the product works, and I believe in it. So,
but you also spend that time in trying to build that relationship. So this particular lady, like, you've invested, you said about 45 minutes. So obviously,
and they were really, and they were really interested. And like, I feel like it hurt me even more because I felt like I told them a lot about the story and like having a son, and I gave a lot into that, and I was like, I actually had a really good rapport with them.
Yeah,
I felt like I walked out and I was like, man, like they were almost like my friends. But then there's no friends in business almost in clientele sometimes. But you can't take that personally. And
moving from that one, that's not going to stop you spending that time with your next client, though, is
it?
Or potential client?
No, not at all. Because if you have that mindset of, oh, well, I'm not wasting time, then
you're not going to get anywhere.
No, you might do 5 of those to get one job. But if you don't do the 5s, you're not going to get that one job. And it's like me chasing sponsors throughout my boxing career. Like, you do get used to saying, people saying no or leaving you on air. Like, yeah, you gotta, like, it's a hard thing asking for people for money to help support your dream. And again, it's not easy. And again, this day and age, it's tough to get money because everyone's a bit tighter and a bit more cautious about what's happening outside in the real world with the wars, the interest rates, all these big things.
Cost of living
Cost
is
of
pretty
living,
tough at the moment, isn't
so
it?
it's hard to get money for someone to say, "Oh, I need your help to help me put more time and energy into my training." So you do get used to people saying no, but it still hurts.
Yeah. So a big thing for us too, for my company, is I sort of tackle potential clients in the sense of, look, I understand that the product or the service is, in their opinion, more expensive than others, but it's the value that you add to that client that you really need to push and really need to explain and understand. So, I mean, you would have that yourself, like when you're talking to this particular lady or even any other potential clients, you're adding value to them by explaining what your product or your service does. You'd have to agree to that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, big time. And I truly believe in my product. Again, I'm getting to a stage now. Again, I've only been sort of running for 3 months, but I'm starting to get referrals of people that have just sort of seen the benefits of how good the water is, how good it tastes, the benefits of, their kids' eczema being reduced and their hair being more luscious. So I'm seeing those results and they're getting recommendations and referrals. So those jobs are starting to come in now. Like, hey, you done my job, Denny's, 2 months ago. He speaks highly about you and the product. So can you come put one into my house? So I know that's just going to steamroll and snowball the more I do.
I think it's very important, the referrals and introductions. I mean, you and I have been speaking about that before. How important are they to businesses to make sure that you do a good job for somebody, or even if you don't do a job for them, you've added value to them by explaining the products and the services or the business that you're passionate about, and then potentially they refer somebody else to you as well. That then brings business, right?
Yeah,
How important are referrals and introductions?
Oh, huge. Again, that's something I've always been good at. I've always been a good people person. And I feel like that's what got me through a lot of my boxing career and getting people on board and believing in Cronulla Cowboy is being that likable person. Like there was times where you had to play the role of the bad guy, especially when I fought Tim, because Tim, amazing fighter, but doesn't have a great personality. So you sort of got to fill in that, play that role and sort of
bring that zest,
bring that zest,
energy,
and bring that energy. So that was a sell that I had to do. But being the Cronulla Cowboy, I've just sort of really embodied that, and it's been great. But in business, you have to be a good people person. At the end of the day, without the clients and the people who are paying you, you don't have nothing.
And have you had any funny requests when you get to a job?
Funny requests?
Yeah.
Ah, jeez.
Did I expect you to rock up with a cowboy hat on and the boxing gloves around your neck or something like that?
And the arseless chaps on?
Yeah, the arseless chaps.
No, nothing too crazy yet. But again, like it's early days, so I'm sure.
Are you open to those requests?
Man, I'm open to any request. Hey, money's money. $20 is $20.
There's a price to it.
Yeah, everything has a price. So no, I'm gonna be open to any requests. But I do. I love what I do, and I'm really enjoying it. So again, it's working outdoors. I'm going to a different job sort of most days, and I'm not sort of stuck in a sort of a factory or working at a big construction site for months on end. Like I'm one of those people that I need to sort of be out and doing something similar but different every day. And that job, every job I do, it's similar, but it has different aspects that makes it different, which I enjoy.
So I know when I first started CVD, it took a lot out of me. Like it's relentless, right? So you've just started Fresh Filters. There's a lot of work, time and energy outside of actually doing the physical job in supplying that product or service to your clients. How much time would you say to somebody who wants to start a new business? What would you be telling them? Like it takes every moment of your day just about, doesn't it?
It does, but also you need to get yourself a a good partner. Again,
Supporting partner.
myself and you are extremely lucky with our partners who are believing in us and doing a lot of the hard work for us. Like I said, Elise pretty much set up all the marketing side of my business and the website. But if you haven't got a partner, maybe a business partner, it's like, so I'm good at doing what I do with my hands. Again, I'm a good physical person. I always struggled a bit sort of on the computer. That's something I'm learning and sort of incorporating and doing my best. Like I feel like I need to do maybe a computer course to touch up my skills and improve it, because I'm getting by now, but I definitely know that if I'm going to expand, I need to be a lot better on the back end. Yeah, on the back end, definitely need to level up. So again, if you're good with your hands, maybe partner up with someone and say, well, you're really good with marketing or computers. Why don't we sort of team up and I'll use my best aspects and we'll make a really good team. So if you can't find someone or you can't do it yourself, try to find someone that can.
I think that's important too. And what you touched on there about our partners, like we're both extremely lucky. We've got beautiful partners who actually support us. I'm pretty much the same as you, mate. I had no clue probably about 2 years ago about Instagram and how to use any of that. Not saying that you don't, but I mean...
Instagram I'm not bad at, but again, like as we sat down last month, again, you're showing me the stuff on the computer and you had these emails and like you were flipping between screens like it was like a computer game. I was like trying to keep up, had my glasses on. I was my eyes were going cross-eyed how quick you were on it. But again, that's just practice and years of experience.
But our partners make a big difference in both of our lives, right?
Big time.
So I mean, it's very important that if you are going to be with somebody, that you find somebody that you not only get along with, that's like your best mate. At least would be your best mate as well, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
So
like any best mate, you have your disagreements at times, and you have your of course your fights, but you always come back and again. At least he's my best friend.
They're your ride or die, right? So that's number one. You've got to have somebody that's going to support not just you, but your vision and your dream as well, right?
Yeah, and truly believe in you.
But that pushes you.
Yeah, big time. Again, Elise is so good with pushing me. Sometimes like she can push a bit hard, and like again, he's like, oh, give me a break, like. I need some time out, but I believe in you and I know you can be so successful. So I'm being hard on you because I want you to succeed. And you just got to take it on the chin and listen and keep moving forward.
And you'd have to admit that those times they make us better, right?
Oh yeah, Elise definitely makes me a better man.
So, I mean, look, I can talk about the countless times that my wife, Jessie, tells me, don't do this or don't do that or you need to do this. Because you can find that you get a bit complacent. I mean, before we were just talking about you got this work in, right? So you've done some advertising, done some marketing, done some collaboration, you got this work in, you kind of eased off a little bit, right? So... to the young entrepreneurs that are listening, we need to let them know that we can't stop.
Yeah.
Don't take your foot off the gas.
Yeah, that's the big advice. Again, don't take your foot off the gas. And again, when you start having money come in, again, like the first few weeks, I had all these jobs. I was like, man, I'm loaded. Yeah, I'm loaded. This is cracker. Like, man, go shopping, looking at overseas trips and that. And then like all of a sudden, those jobs sort of dry up and then you haven't got the new ones coming in as quick as what those ones were.
You've outlaid all this money for the new product.
Exactly. You bought all these new products and you're thinking, you're counting, you're doing the books, you're like, oh, hang on, I'm not as, it's going to go.
I'm not as flush as I thought I was going to be.
It's gone from 6 weeks in Europe to 6 hours in Tronga.
You got to catch the train and public transport now, right?
So no, you don't get too ahead of yourself. And again, like once you start getting money come in, you just got to keep putting it back into the business and save it for a rainy day, because again, you might have a good week, you might have a good month, but you might have a slow week and you might have a slow month sort of the next, but you just got to keep pushing.
Well, we know that we've had COVID recently. Well, a couple of years ago we had COVID, and that turned everything on its head. So I have to agree with you when you talk about when the money comes in. You've got to just reinvest that in yourself. Don't get the money to when the money starts to come in. Don't just think, oh, I'm flush now. I can start spending and start doing this.
Yeah.
Because really, you do have rainy days, don't you?
Oh, big time, 100%. And yeah, it's just definitely the biggest advice I can give. Again, don't count your chickens, and you just keep putting that money aside and putting it back into the business and invest in yourself.
So on these rainy days that we have, and we both know we're both in business, that they come, and sometimes you can't plan for them. When you got no money in your bank, what do you do?
Yeah, well, you get good at eating baked beans on toast. So again, it's the 50-cent sort of tuners, but no, you just
Keep going?
Keep going, yeah, keep going. You just got to keep believing in yourself. Again, you get knocked down in that 5th round. You just got to get back up on your stool, dust yourself off, and go out for the 6th, and just keep trying, keep fighting. Because what else do you have? You got nothing.
So I got a saying. So I had my dad in the last interview, podcast, and we both share a saying: "If you stand still, you die." Would you admit that saying that we have would relate to you in taking a plunge into starting business?
Yeah, big time. Again, you just got to keep striving, keep moving forward. Again, I feel like that's why my boxing is going to really benefit my life after boxing. It's just, the amount of mental toughness you need to sort of get through the fights. And the fights a lot of the time has been the easiest part of boxing.
It's the months and months training.
Months of training. Again, like I had most of my career at welterweight, so I was a big welterweight. I was doing like 7 kilo weight cuts at the end of my career to make 66.6 kilos. I walk around at 73, 74 kilos. And like, if you're not 100, especially like later on in my career, when I wasn't 100% sure if I still had that love for boxing, you're sitting in that sauna trying to lose that weight. Like, man, like it's just no quit. Like you have to get the weight off. So it's like in life, you have to make money for your family. Like you can't just get out and go, oh, I don't want to lose that weight.
Throw your hands up and just give up.
Yeah, give up. Like you have to do it. So like I had to go back in the sauna. I had to sit there for another hour or however long until I dust myself off, check my weight, and then I only lost 100 grams in an hour because I was just so dry and depleted. But you got another 100 grams to go. So you need to get back in there. As much as you don't want to, you have to do it because it's just, you have to do it.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you don't do it, obviously in your boxing, you weren't going to fight, right?
Yeah.
And what comes with that?
Yeah, you don't.
Regret?
Yeah, regret.
And you don't want to live your life with regret.
No, you don't want to be looking back and, I don't have many regrets in my life, but again, you just need to keep moving forward. It's a good saying, Chris.
Yeah, so if you stand still, you die.
You die.
Yeah, and we don't want to do that.
No,
I think it's very important to elaborate on starting a business is not easy.
No,
whether it's day 1, day 5, day 500. I mean, I've been in business almost 18 years now. I've been in business, right, and it hasn't been easy. One year you'll have a great year. You might have a great month, a great week. Then the following week, something comes and knocks you down, and that's where that mental toughness that you talk about really comes in, right?
Oh, huge! And again, I sort of been lucky. Like I said, my parents have a successful business with the earth moving, and man, I used to try to call my dad. Even when I had my gym, like I had a lot of free time as well. Like I was sort of training, but I was lucky to have a lot of free time, and I'd always try to call dad. And he'd never answer, and I'd call mum and but like, what's dad's deal? Like, he never calls me back. Like, is he off me? Like, it'd be weeks and months like that. Sometimes like, he wouldn't call you back, and he used to like sort of get upset at him. But then when I went to work for him, like I just saw firsthand, like
understood.
Yeah, I understood. Like he just rattled nonstop. He's got a big successful business. He's got no free time he's got no free time. Again, like now they're finally starting to reap the rewards and they're sort of putting themselves first and going on holidays and booking it. It's like, I'm drawing a line in the sand. I need to put my mental health or my happiness. Again, mum was getting upset. Like they probably could have retired 4 or 5 years ago, but dad's just a worker. And like through and through, he'll just work. Yeah, that's why the business done so well because he'd work 7 days a week, 12 hours, 14 hours a day to get the business where it is. But like that's all he knows. So Mum was like, well, we don't need to work like this hard anymore. But
You find it because he's passionate about it?
yeah, passionate, and just that's why he done so well. And again, he's just a worker. Like he does. He obviously loves it and passionate about it. But I think it took my mum 5 years to, like, they're not retired, not by any means. Dad's still working his ass off, but they just got back from a 6-week holiday, and that's probably the longest holiday they've had for as long as I've known them.
Yeah.
Look, my parents I'm talking about, so yeah.
Look, it's definitely hard when you run a business, right, to try and break away to have some time with your family. But you'd have to say it's also very important that does happen, right? You need to find a balance. Same, you can relate to that when you were boxing. Not having that balance does impact you.
Yeah, it does. It wears you down, and again, like, it wasn't until after the fight, like or now, like you look back at that time, like, man, like, I was so drained and so depleted and so just like, probably wasn't training the best because I was just so tired and lethargic, and then I wasn't being a good father, probably because I wasn't as present as I could have been, because I was just burning the candle on every aspect. And again, I'd even working with the boys that I was working with, Aquest, again, they're legends of guys and got a good plumbing business. But like, I was looking back and I was like, man, I probably wasn't the best employee at times too, because I was like, but they were amazing about it because they understood that, yeah, like, boxing these are my last couple of fights, but I'm rocking up to work tired and sort of doing the best job I could. But yeah, like, there was a few times they pulled me aside, like, man, just pick it up a little bit, okay? Like, you had a bit of a slow day, and like, you probably could have done this a bit better. So yeah, that's just what you got to do.
It's definitely hard, you know. It's especially finding that balance at not only when you were working for somebody else, but also when you're working for yourself now. Trying to find that balance at home as well. I mean, you're going to find that come up later as well, is that you're going to be so focused in trying to make it work. You've also got to make sure that you take, 5 or 10 minutes out, take a time out, and be able to spend that time with your family.
Yeah, I feel like just maybe having a set rule. Like, I hear these,
whether it's a Sunday.
Yeah, like these big entrepreneurs. I watch his video, and he said, like, he had this one rule. Like, he was a CEO of a massive company, and on a Tuesday from 5 p.m. onwards, he goes, I don't care if this company stock lost everything. He said, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
So from 5 o'clock on the Tuesday, it's mine and my wife's time till the next day. So he goes, no matter what happened, it wasn't my problem on a Tuesday afternoon after 5 p.m. And that's what, I guess, the mentality sometimes you have to enforce on yourself, and make that hard line in the sand.
And set that time, set that boundary so that you can sort of replenish, because obviously, when you're working so hard, your cup is emptying, right? You're always on the go. You might have a problem go on here, suppliers let you down, money's not coming in, you're facing all these challenges at work. But I think, if you don't set that time, you're not going to be able to fill up your cup, right?
Yeah, big time.
You'd have to agree to that.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, amazing. And one last thing, Jack, tell your younger self, give him some advice, mate. You got a young entrepreneur looking at you going, look, this is Jack, he's just started a business. Give him a couple of words of advice.
The biggest advice I can give is surround yourself with the people that you want to become. Again, I made a bit of a mistake when I first gave up work, and I sort of surrounded around, like, I wasn't working full time, and I had all this time, and you start hanging out with people who haven't got jobs, and that's where you get yourself in a bit of strife. So if you want to be a successful business person, you need to hang around with people who have businesses, not people that don't have businesses. So the biggest advice, hang out with people that you want to become.
Well, look, Jack, I really appreciate your time. Give us a plug with Fresh Filters. Let us know. Tell everybody, if they're listening, tell us what it is. Tell us what you do, and get them to contact you, mate.
Yeah, so again, my business is a full house filtration business. It's got 3 filters. It's going to improve your skin quality, your hair quality. I reached out and I'd done the research for the filtration because I was a new father and I wanted to put the best stuff in my son's body, as well as being a professional athlete. But hit us up and we'll come do you a quote and get the water quality in your house top notch. So every tap in your house has the clean, healthy, beautiful tasting water.
Amazing. Thanks very much, Jack. I appreciate having you in.
Thanks, Chris. It's been amazing, man. It's been a good chat. So thank you for having us.
Thanks.